once again. And as you know that ICE Innovation and Incubation Center for Entrepreneurship located at IICE Bhopal, which is an institute of national importance, provides space, awareness, networking, mentorship for the success of startups and promotion of entrepreneurship culture. Without further delay, I would like to introduce Dr. Amjad Hussain, CEO ICE, to further brief us about the speaker. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Udit. On behalf of ICE, I welcome today's speaker, Ms. Umang Shridhar, who is a founder of Umangshridhar Designs Pvt. Limited. We were thinking to invite her for last few months, but then because of Corona, because of pandemic situation, we could not invite her on campus. So finally, we decided to have this lecture online. Umang startup is working in the area of design and fashion promotion of indigenous designs, precisely. Her startup intervention has helped the local artisans in improving their monthly income with a significant rise of over 300%. Umang got recognized by Forbes under a very prestigious category 30 under 30 Asia. If you are aware, Forbes publish this list every year, and she is one of the achiever who achieved this recognition at a very early stage. Umang Shridhar was also nominated for the prestigious list of Wise 100 by NetWest London in 2017, and the Technology Development Board has recognized her startup as a top 15 startup led by women entrepreneurs, commercializing successfully in 2018. Umang Umang graduated from Delhi University with a degree in commerce and also completed a short program in fashion technology from National Institute of Fashion Technology, Bhopal. And I hope we have more to hear from Umang, and I'm sure our students, especially who are interested into startup ventures at a very early stage, will get inspired and learn more from Umang. So I welcome you, Umang, at IICE Bhopal, and I welcome you to deliver, I invite you to deliver a lecture today at IICE to the IICE Entrepreneurship Talk. Welcome.
Thank you so much, sir. A wonderful morning. I can see a lot of sun. It's still cold, but I hope you guys are safe at your home. I am really thankful to IICE for inviting me and interacting with so many students who are one of the brightest minds of our country. I mean, you guys are already, doing researches that are so important to our country, and your research has definitely taken, our country forward. But introducing myself, I mean, I am founder of Umang Shridhar Designs, and we specifically work with indigenous, like sir said, indigenous crafts and techniques of making textile. I know, you guys have taken
technology, finance.
You guys have taken the technology much ahead of its times, and also, done researches which are very important to this country and the society. But I think some of the things, which were invented many years back are still alive, and they are very important for the country like India, where 60% of people still live in the rural India. They are not literate, but they have these specific skill sets that can be commercialized, that can be used for their livelihoods. So I run a company called Umangshridhar Designs Pvt. Limited, formerly known as Khadiji. For last 7 years now, we work majorly with hand spinners, handloom weavers, printers, dyers, embroiders, and tailors, and make products in bulk. So it's a B2B company majorly, and we make textiles and products, and we sell to large format retailers like Reliance and Aditya Birla, and we sell also to a lot of online platforms. We also export in 5 different countries currently, And all this has happened over the period of 4 to 5 years. I mean, the first 2 years of my venture, and you can say my entrepreneurial journey, were more about research and understanding the challenges of craft sector. So to become the entrepreneur, I mean, you really need to understand the problem statement. You all are researchers, and you all are probably working on some invention in your college, or understanding how things are developed. The first thing and the foremost thing to understand is the problem statement. That was the major, I think, task, to really identify what are the challenges, what are the problems of this sector. I started doing this not because I was a designer, not because I come from a textile family, not because I had primarily any love for craft. Majorly I started doing this because I wanted to work for the rural people. I am born and brought up in a small village in Bundelkhand. I don't know how many of you are aware of this region in Madhya Pradesh, which is one of the most backward regions in India. And people still don't have many livelihood options, and they are still dependent on only on agriculture. And there is very low literacy rate. The resources are not as much. So I was born and brought up in one such village. And I was fortunate enough to actually get into a very good school, go to a very good college, and get exposed to the world, and learn about things. But people who are living in my village still don't have basic necessities. They still struggle to get basic necessities and earn a dignified employment. So that was the vision. When I went to Delhi University to study, I realized that the situation is very similar for people living in slums in Delhi. I mean, they are definitely earning, but they are not earning enough. So the problem of people migrating from villages to bigger cities, they still don't settle there. They're still struggling, and it's better that this migration doesn't happen as that rate that it is happening. And people should have employment opportunities in their hometowns, in their villages, and they should really make living for themselves where they are living. So with that whole experience and idea, my personal experience, I decided to do something for the rural India. I decided to do something for women specifically in the rural areas, because I saw that men still get to work and they get to live the way they want to, but women specifically suffer a lot. And because of that, the kids are also suffering. So as they say that when you empower a woman, you empower the whole society, because she will invest in her children's education, she will invest in nutrition, she will invest in health. That's how women generally invest. She will save for her future. So when I graduated from Delhi University, I got back to Bhopal, and at the age of 21, I started my first NGO in December 2013. And I started working with women. That time, I didn't know what I will do. From whatever minimal learning I had in my college, I was part of many societies, and I was working with a lot of NGOs. And one such organization was SITE, Students in Free Enterprise, and we were encouraged to promote on entrepreneurship. That the idea of that NGO was to promote entrepreneurship, and that's where I learned about social entrepreneurship. That you can actually do business with motives, with social motives, and that business is not only about making profits. And I got back and I started working with women. The first venture we had was about food. We started with making gujiyas and papris. And this was in March 2014. And during the time of Holi, we did this with the maids of my colony, and all the women of my colony, I mean, my mother's friends, they had invested money, and we made these gujiyas in home of one of our neighbors, and and that really picked up. I mean, we sold all the gujiyas And it was such a big hit. People were returning the gujia packets. At 10 number, we had a big stall, and we did flash mobs. And for 4-5 days, we were there. All the volunteers were there of my NGO, and we were selling gujias. And people were really liking it. But one person came up to me, and that was my first lesson as an entrepreneur. He said, "Do you have a FSSAI?" And I was like, "What is that?" He said, "That's the basic certificate that you're supposed to have when you start selling food articles." That was the first day I learned about compliances. And he said, "What if the intention is great, you are doing it for the women, everything is amazing, but what if one person falls sick by eating your gujias, or something goes wrong? How are you going to manage that?" So that is how, I have, in last 7 to 8 years, since 2014 to now 22, 8 years, I have learned many lessons of entrepreneurship by making mistakes sometimes, by falling sometimes, but but the whole idea of going ahead by learning by making mistakes is what entrepreneurs are made of. I mean, all my fellow entrepreneurs who are now doing very well in this space, in their particular spaces, have really failed a lot of times. So one major trait of any entrepreneur is that you're not scared of falling, you're not scared of failing. There are certain things that you need to understand before you start working on any idea. You want to become an entrepreneur is one thing, but why you want to become an entrepreneur is the most important thing. Why you are doing so. We say, there are 3 major questions that you need to answer when you start working on anything. So that's why you need to really answer the whys in your life, why you are doing what you're doing. Like today you are part of this big research institute, one of the most important research institutes in this country. Why you are doing this research is first question that everyone, not only entrepreneurs, but anyone and everyone should answer. The second thing is, what are you doing? What are you going to do when you want to become an entrepreneur? What is the problem that you're going to solve? And the third thing, how are you going to do it? So all 3 questions are very important. But why will keep you motivated? Why will give you reason to wake up every day and go to work? So you really need to identify your why. For me, it was because I was born in a village. I saw the situations firsthand. I wanted to really change the game in the villages, and that's how I started. That is my why. I every day wake up. There are so many challenges. Currently, there are so many problems that are in my head. But that why is very important. That why has always helped me come out of a situation, move ahead of that situation, and really perform. So for me, that why was that I wanted to give people dignified skill-based employment opportunity in the rural area. That was the why. That is the reason that I wake up every day. I realize that in a country like India, there are 2 major sectors that people work in. I mean, around 50% or 60% of people are engaged in agriculture, and apart from that, around 20% are engaged in craft. So there are around 200 million artisans in this country practicing different kind of indigenous crafts. And that was a very big opportunity. And there were very few brands who were actually working in craft. But there were many who were willing to work in the craft sector. So instead, I started as a garment brand, a khadi garment brand. But when I pitched my idea to CIIE and Startup Oasis in Jaipur, that was my first pitching, and I was 24 years old that time. And I said that, I want to make these garments digitally printed on a khadi fabric, and want to sell this to people to promote livelihood, sustainable fashion, all of this, that. They said, how many garments can you sell in one month? And I said, maybe 100 pieces. They said, that's so less. Like in making 100 garments, how much fabric will you use? I said, maybe 500 meters. They said, how many artisans will make 500 meters? So I said maybe 10 artisans. And so that, they said, okay, so then you are going to only give employment to those 10 people, but you are willing to obviously do more, and you want to work with. So I said, I want to work with 1 million artisans in the next 10 years. And so they said that, you cannot do this by building a brand. You can do this by solving problem, or making many entrepreneurs who want to work in the craft industry, and you can still you can be the B2 wholesale company which is supplying textiles to all these brands who want to work in the craft sector. So that is how my journey started, to build a textile company, which I had no idea of. I am not from a textile background. I did a short-term course, but that too wasn't passion. But I still took up that challenge of building a textile company in the craft sector, and really sell to brands like Reliance and Aditya Birla in first 3 years of our setting up. And then the pandemic came. So we did, after spending 2 years uh, with the craft industry and starting a fashion label, I then pivoted to start a textile brand. And in the first 2 years, we made 150 plus fabrics, new fabrics, using bamboo fiber, using soya fiber. We did design intervention. We did a lot of upskilling of our artisans. We did upgradation of looms. We started also using solar looms, which were recently made available to the handloom industry, and started creating fabrics which are more fashionable, which are more gender neutral, which are affordable, all of that, and the deliveries of which will be faster, because in craft industry it's very slow and you can't do mass production at that level. So we actually tried to do that, and we were successful at a lot of things. But then the COVID happened, and the fashion industry was hit badly. A lot of brands got shut. A lot of brands had bad falls. So we also struggled, but then again we pivoted, and we kept our why in the center of everything. We do what we do. So in our center was the people who we work with, who we work for, and we started making masks and things that can be used during the pandemic. And that's how we survived the last 2 years. And in the last year, we did apply for, and in the last year, I realized that my whole journey of becoming a craftpreneur, I identify myself as a craftpreneur and not just an entrepreneur. I think now is the time that I should really enable the artisans to become craftpreneurs and let them do the business. So the next that we are now working upon, we got a lot of funding from NASSCOM Foundation, which is the leading tech association of our country. We are now working to enable artisans to start selling digitally by using platforms like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, different Amazon, Flipkart, all these different. And then we are also working on creating a community, a tech community, where all these trained people can join that community. They can do business together. They can learn from each other. They can source products each other. So that is the next of our next step, or phase of our organization. In next 5 years, we see enabling 1 million people to become craftpreneurs. That's the idea. And we want to create this community of craft enthusiasts, craft suppliers, craft designers, craft persons themselves, and really make this authentic platform where you go and you find only certified artisans. That's the biggest idea. From being a student with an idea or passion to do something for the rural people, something that a lot of times we have pivoted, we have changed business models, we have changed products, We have raised a lot of money, we have repaid money, we have sold a lot of fabric, everything, but something that did not change from day one, from the time I decided to be an entrepreneur, is that I wanted to do something I wanted to empower the people in the villages, and that has been the core, and that has been the vision statement. So the vision statement of your organization never changes. It keeps on evolving, but it never changes. And you keep working towards your vision day, night, one step at a time. That has been my journey so far. We have worked with 1,000 plus artisans till now. We have worked in 13 plus clusters in 5 different states. We work with around 150 plus clients in around 5 countries. And we also have sold lakhs and lakhs of meters of fabric so far. I think that's about my journey. If you guys have any questions, you can definitely ask. I'm open to questions.
So, Umang, let me start by asking you first question. So, would you like to share a bit more on, like, what are the products, like a core products, a name of those products, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and how these craftsmen are making money out of it? Like, what is your business model as a company? Like, do you charge certain percentage of the revenue, and how do they get benefited, right? And how the money move actually from customer to the craftsman. So any thought on that, if you could?
Sure. So our fabrics are divided into 3 categories majorly. There is khadi. Khadi is hand spun, hand woven products. So majorly there are textiles, there is home furnishing, and there is fashion. Those are the broader categories, to say so. In textiles, we deal in khadi. Khadi is a hand spun, hand woven fabric. Any fabric which is hand spun, hand woven is called khadi. And then there is handloom. Handloom is mill spun but hand woven. So the yarn of that fabric is made in the mill, and it is only woven on a handloom. That is called handloom. So there's a difference between khadi and handloom that we specify, and we sell both khadi and handloom fabrics. And then we use fibers like bamboo, mulberry silk, organic cotton, and normal cotton to make these fabrics. So major category of our business, around 50% of it is textile. We sell majorly textile, and we give it to brands, and they make garments out of it. How the business model works is we first do the costing of the product. I mean, how much the raw material is, what will be how many meters of fabric, we give wages to our artisans. So we directly don't work with the artisans, we work with master artisans. These master artisans tell us, like, these many meters of fabric an artisan can make in a day, and he is, say, a A-level skill artisan or a B-level skill artisan or a C-level. So there are different categories of artisans, and they earn according to their skill level. We are, like, the artisans that we work with, weavers generally earn around 400 to even 1,000 rupees a day. Spinners earn around 200 to around 300, 350 rupees a day, basis the kind of product that they are making and how skilled the artisan is. So that's how the artisan earns. Now the master artisan charges a certain percentage over everything that he's managing. So he's more like a manager, a master craft artisan, and then we get that at certain price, and we add our own margins. So now our margins include design charges, quality. So what my team, our in-house team, does is we manage the whole production. We provide them with financial, so any order that comes to us, we give financial support to our artisans to buy yarn, to pay wages, and all of that. And then we also do the quality control, because in the craft industry there are a lot of challenges with the quality, because it's every product is being made by hand, and how to control that, bring minimum defects. So we keep training them time to time, and we keep our check on production. And then once the product is made and it's quality checked by us, we supply it to our customers. So we charge for that facility that we provide to our customer. And apart from the textiles that we make, we also deal in products like fashion products, as in clothing. Some of the clothings we make for some brands in Europe. So we work as production partners of international brands majorly. So they discuss all their production, their range plan. It's called range plan of coming season, and we source and we manufacture that with our artisans. So everything that we make is made by the traditional artisans only, and in their villages, and we facilitate this whole trade, and we charge around 40% margin for that.
Okay, thank you. If other audience have questions, they may ask. Umang is here to answer.
So Umang, I have a question actually. So I know that you are using IoT to get artisans in the single platform, but how exactly are you using this IoT? Can you just give a little bit?
So we started before pandemic. We started working on this idea of using blockchain majorly to identify and authenticate the craft. So if I'm saying that this is product which is made in Morena, it is authenticated by the artisans themselves. But during the pandemic, we had to shift our as in we have to pivot a little, but then we collaborated with one of the tech companies in Bangalore, and they came up with this device which is installed on a loom, which differentiates the handloom fabric or the khadi fabric from the power loom fabric. All the products that we make come with a QR code. You can scan that QR code and you can get the basic information. First of all, whether it is a handloom or not, that is authenticated. What they have done is they have made a small device which gets installed on the loom, and by the motion of that loom, it tells whether it is made by on a handloom or on a power loom. So that is the authentication that is done by that device. And after that, basic information like which weaver has made it, in how many days the particular length of fabric was made, all those, in which region it was made, on which date it was made. So all that information is also shared with the customer, the end customer. So this we have worked with a IT company in Bangalore called Kosha. We are working towards making this community platform that we are talking about, where all the authenticated people, all the authentic crafts people and people who want to work in the craft industry will be on same platform. We will also be training them how to do production, how to do quality control, how to make a new product, how to sell online. All these different kinds of trainings we will provide to these people who want to become craftpreneurs or who are already artisans. And so this is the community platform that we are working upon when it comes to technology. So for that, we have raised this fund from NASCOM Foundation. So we are working on this currently.
Thank you. Do you have more questions from audience? So they can unmute and ask question one by one.
If there is no question, I can ask another one, maybe. So Umang, how scalable is your business? So for example, as of now, you're operating on your own, but do you also have like franchisee model? And let's say someone in UP or Delhi or some other state would like to replicate it. So what is your model for that?
So, we have worked with 13 clusters and so far. And what we are doing now is that we want to, how we have developed one cluster, we want to develop at least all the clusters in Madhya Pradesh. So I'm also working as a consultant for the state government, and we have decided to develop at least one model Khadi center for government in Indore, and one model center for silk, and one model center for handloom in our state. So for that, we are doing in next 2 years, we are going to do this. And as this is, so this will be from like the complete supply chain of that cluster will be developed, and we will develop them properly. Till now, whatever we as a company have done, we have done it privately. I mean, that was done for our own production. But now we are going on a bigger level where we are saying that with our own experience of building this enterprise, we will develop every cluster in a way that it is self-sustainable, that it has a lot of entrepreneurs. So that's the model. We are focusing on developing many clusters, and connecting them to the market is going to be the next step. So how scalable, I can say that in next coming 5 years, the idea is to reach to at least 50 clusters, and replicate this in different 50 clusters in at least the 5 states that we work in.
Thanks, Umang. So, do we have any other question, or I guess it's time to thank you. So I would like to thank Ms. Umang Shridhar to generously accept the invitation for giving a talk that I believe will enlighten young entrepreneurs and get startups familiar with the technicalities involved in the operations of a startup. Ms. Shridhar, she is the inspiration for the budding entrepreneurs who is transforming a small business such that it has got a recognition in Forbes 30 under 30 Asia. It's amazing achievement, and it was a very interesting talk. And once again, thank you. I would also like to thank Dr. Amjad Hussain, ICE Innovation Fellows, ICE team, and ICE Bhopal to organize and be a part of this wonderful event. And at last, I would like to thank all the participants. As always, I say that no event can be successful without the participation of the participants. You guys can subscribe us on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at IICER, that's ICE, for the updates. Thank you all, and I will see you again soon for the next event. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.